I am Deidre of Hexetarots. That is my Instagram handle, hexetarots with an S on the end. I'm an astrologer, a musician, and a tarot card reader here in Austin, Texas. And this is my very good friend and colleague and former mentor, Mak.
Hi, my name is Mak Jagger. I'm an intuitive consultant and strategist in Austin, Texas. I'm an astrologer, a tarot reader, Akashic Record reader, and today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you might be experiencing in the cosmos. We're filming this today. That is November 12th, 2025, and we're in the midst of the earliest stages of a Mercury retrograde. Mercury went retrograde this previous Sunday, so we're just a few days in, but the shadow period has been playing out for a while now. So the shadow period started back when Mercury was in Scorpio, and it'll be coming back around because the thing about retrograde transits are, if it happens during the shadow period, then it's going to happen again during the retrograde, and it's going to happen again during the post-shadow. So we're in a direct hit of Mercury's second conjunction to Mars. So Mercury is the planet that rules like communication, processing, information, definitely emails, which is what we're about to talk to you about. Mars, I would say, is like aggression and directness, and it can also be like things being sort of forced into the light, or things being sort of handled and dealt with.
There's a certain level of manhandling there with Mars present with pretty much any transit regarding Mars.
Absolutely, it can be it can definitely be harsh. And so this transit's happening today, and today news broke regarding the Epstein trial, not the Epstein trial, rather the Epstein files, the Epstein case, if you will, specifically those who were involved with Epstein for nefarious reasons potentially, and what happened back on October 17th when this transit was applying for the first time, Deidre?
Interestingly enough, that is when the news broke about Prince Andrew having his lands, his titles, and pretty much any official association with the royal family.
Cut, like Mars.
Mars
is sever.
Gone.
Cut out.
Yes.
And that was on the 17th. So the transit was not exact until like the 20th, but there was this application period, and it certainly was like, and it's been an ongoing, again, with retrogrades, things can get drawn out. I think he just got his title stripped like a few days ago.
Yeah, officially.
But like that was certainly headline news and brought this conversation up back again. And now today we have, yesterday I should say, Jupiter, the planet that rules the sign of Sagittarius, actually went into its retrograde. And that is important because now Mercury and Mars have both moved into Sagittarius, and that is where the retrograde is actively happening. And so today we have a direct meetup, once again, of Mercury and Mars in that sign of Sagittarius. And because Jupiter was also stationing retrograde yesterday, it happened to be doing a very interesting thing to the chart of one Donald Trump. It was actually stationing retrograde at 25 degrees of Cancer, which is the exact sign of Trump's Venus sign, so his values and his pleasures. And it was also
however twisted those might be.
And it was also in a conjunction to his Saturn, so karma and the weight of your decisions and taking responsibility.
Duration and time.
And
how long has this likely been going on?
Yes.
Him and anybody else involved with this has clearly been invested in this Epstein
and building structures around it. And if you're using a whole sign chart, this would all be happening in Trump's 12th house of unseen things, secrets, and hidden enemies, which is obvious as we're going to read some of these emails to you. You're going to kind of see what that is about. So we actually do have our eye on the next date that this is going to be exact again.
Right.
So,
and that's going to be around December 9th.
I think it's exactly
December 9th.
4 degrees.
At 4 degrees Scorpio. So that's when we've got, again, just to remind you, Mars and Mercury coming together again at 4 degrees Scorpio. So it's going to make an exact conjunction with one another.
Right. They're going to be meeting up. And so now they're coming back into Scorpio. So Sagittarius can be a little bit more like, Sagittarius is boisterous, it's loud, it just says shit, if
it's big picture honesty.
Yes.
There's not a lot of regard
Scorpio's
for details.
Right. Scorpio's digging in. And so recently, within the last couple months, we did find, the astrology community did find a somewhat reliable time for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday. I think we're all sort of agreeing that he's a Capricorn rising. And so interesting discovery here. I'm taking a look at his chart. Look at what's happening right there at 4 degrees of Scorpio in his 10th house, in his public 10th is the most public, visible house, his
Wow,
reputation, and what people say about him after he's gone. The 10th house is your legacy. 4 degrees of Scorpio is his lot of fortune.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fortune.
That is.
So you were saying something interesting, because we were talking about the lot of fortune earlier. I was trying to describe it to a client yesterday, and you said something really interesting about your take on the lot of fortune.
Right. So in layman's terms, the lot of fortune is mostly considered the quote unquote luckiest part of the chart, which yes and no. So it has a lot to do with blessings, and I always like to describe this to people as, yes, it's the luckiest point in the chart. It's a point in your chart where you can look for to see where you're going to obtain a lot of blessings and good fortune, good luck. However, it is depending on what's aspecting it, what planets are running over it. It's also how you're going to lose said blessings, lose said abundance, said things that you have previously earned.
Easy come, easy go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's also, again, 10th house is public. It's things that are happening in the public.
Yeah.
So the emails that were released today, some of them were correspondence between him and Ghislaine, but some of them were with a reporter named Michael Wolff. And there's one in particular that came out in December 5th. It was actually initially sent in December 15th, 2025. So within
2015.
2015, 10 years ago.
Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrograde, thank you very much. But within a week of December 9th, coming back around again. So Michael Wolff emailed Jeffrey Epstein. He said, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in Scrum afterwards. If we were to be able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it would be? Epstein says, importance high. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to my house, that gives you valuable PR or political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, a lot of fortune. Or if it looks like he really could win, I think he meant the election, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey was a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of potential political correctness, which is to be outlawed in the Trump regime.
Which is really funny, because I think that is actually what Trump ended up actually saying about Epstein, was that he's a great guy. I think that's a direct quote almost.
And it's all the 10th house of how we perceive each other, what we say about each other, and all the things, 10th house is also like media representation. So
public consumption of you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. So really interesting stuff here. I will be definitely curious to see what happens as this retrograde progresses. Our friend Tasha was the person who mentioned initially the Jupiter retrograde thing, which really stuck out to me. And Tasha, the pop astrologist, had some really interesting things to say about the upcoming new moon in Scorpio and that really activating Trump's Mars. So go see Tasha's content about this. But where you can follow us if you'd like, I'm Mak Jagger Tarot on Instagram. I also have a Substack called Talking Shifts. And where can they find you, Deidre?
I am on Instagram under hexetarots, hexetarots. And then I also have a YouTube channel called Deidre of the Sorrows, a little folklore reference in there. So yeah, that is our content regarding this hairy situation.
For now, we'll definitely check back in. Mercury's retrograde, so we might, if we got some shit wrong, don't be mad at us. But I feel very certain that the story, obviously, we know the story's not over, but there could be definitely more coming out as we get closer and closer to those hot dates in December. So keep an eye out.
We'll check back with you on December 9th.
All right,
see what's
good.
changed.
Take care of yourself. Check your Mercury's retrograde. Make sure you've backed up your shit. Don't make any big purchases if you can avoid it. Make sure you double check before you hit send on things, all that good stuff. But, Mercury can bring stuff back around from the past that's positive as well, especially if you're not doing low down dirty shit.
Right, especially for, rehashing creative projects that you had ideas for, many months ago.
Yeah.
Most likely during another retrograde period. But
so many good uses.
So good. There's some good stuff with Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, and if you're not, doing dirty shit, you got nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
So, all right, that's all for us. Thanks. Take care, y'all. Bye.
Have a good night.